I think the most important thing in a relationship is communication. That's a key component, and if you don't have that, you can hang it up. So today we're gonna deal about communication. What he say, what she say. Let's rock out. What's going on, everybody? I pray for me. I'm laughing at something they said. Welcome to another episode of Gentleman Code Chronicles. you have to be coaching to know what we're talking about. But anyway, we have some special guests with us today. She tripping. Anyway, this is my sister Adriana Elmendorf. Did I say it right?
No one ever gets her last name right.
Say it. What is it? Her name Adriana.
Thank you. Elmendorf.
Elmendorf.
Thank you.
He still got it wrong.
Anywho, I'm from the South. Y'all pray for me. Then I got my man, 50 grand. The incomparable, the wordsmith itself.
Yes.
Toby Butler.
What up?
Then we got, my brothers. What's your name?
We good? We don't even know our name.
Shout out to Sean, Peter Legend, and Jonathan Williams, man. They got some things they got to take care of. But anyway, we are here, and we're gonna talk about a kind of a touchy subject, and it's he say, she say, and it's the breakdown of communication between a man and a woman. Ooh, everybody suck their teeth like, because we all know that men communicate differently than women. And women communicate differently from men. First, I gotta make a disclaimer. Y'all pray for me. My barber messed my hair up, so I got to wear a hat.
Sean.
No. No.
Somebody said.
Huh? I just put him on blast, didn't I? I put him on blast, didn't I?
He said.
But anyway, yeah. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna ask Adriana. I want her to start this thing off. Why do you think that is so? Why it's so different between a man and a woman when it comes to communicating, especially like in a relationship? And I want the real Adriana to come out today. Not the Sunday sanctified Adriana. I'm gonna start singing Kojic songs.
Okay, you just asked me a question that answered itself. One's a man, one's a woman. They're not going to communicate without practice.
Without practice.
You need practice.
Okay.
We naturally communicate differently.
Okay. What you got to say about that, Toby?
I would affirm that. I think that's absolutely correct. I believe a lot of it boils down to how we're wired. Like men and women are intentionally wired differently.
That's true.
Yep, it's the yin and yang. It's the yin and the yang. It's the balance, So I don't know that it's necessarily we communicate differently as much as we're intended to process things differently to bring the balance. Most people would say that men, the genesis of how we think comes from a logical standpoint.
Right.
We're very logical, and then for the most part, people would say that women are more emotional. Sure. They come from an emotional standpoint or a sentimental standpoint. So, but I think those two balance each other out. You need both.
That's true, right? What you think about that flip video on your phone? What you think?
I was trying to record. What was the question? Put me on the spot. YPWW service. Threw me off. That done messed me all the way up. Right. I like what Adriana said though about different communication. It's different. It's very. Is that what we're talking about, right? Yeah, it is. It's very, especially today. It's very different. It's very different. If you're not on or not trying to get to know somebody, and y'all not on the right page, the communication just won't be there. Period. It just won't. That's all I got to say about that.
I think his biggest thing is not just the communication, but how to communicate effectively. Because you got to think a lot, especially be living, reality TV and all that. And a lot of people think communication is yelling, fighting, cussing, and fighting. All that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing for me. I mean,
Well, with me being married for like almost 30 years, my thing is the listening factor. I don't listen all the time. I could be doing something,
that's true though. That's true.
and Star could be talking to me, and I could be either on my phone or I could be like reading a book or I could be doing something. I'd be like, huh? And she would have said a whole paragraph. So it's not like I don't want to listen to her. It's just I kind of got something else going on, and my brain is here.
So it's fair that men listen. We listen.
We listen selectively.
Thank you, because that's not what he said. He said he just said he wasn't listening.
You gonna do this on
And you
camera?
could-
Okay, I see what it's doing. Okay. Y'all, this is my sister. This is what we do. Yeah. Okay, thank you,
That's
Adriana.
what we're talking about.
Yeah,
We're not
absolutely, yeah,
listening. You're
yeah,
not listening.
yeah.
Okay.
Back to Tony.
And there being a distinction between hearing and listening.
Yes.
I think that's key. You know, people, we hear, but listening is an active thing. You know, you got to give cues that you're listening. You know, the yep, I'm with you. And I would think, I would have to say though, I would argue that there are times when both the male and the female have selective hearing.
Right.
Period. Because like, you know, there'll be times when we'll say a whole paragraph,
Right.
but it's that one word. And once they get that one word, it's like, it don't even matter what else was said. It don't even matter.
I think Sean P is here without the dreads. He sounds just like Sean
That's my brother. That's my brother.
He sounds just like him.
Yeah. And I've been guilty of that as well, because it's like we hone in on, no, but you said this. But it's like, yo, I said like 17 other words after I said that.
Yeah,
And so
right.
now you don't have the proper context. And when you take it out of context, you got a calamity for communication.
I think that's the
Argument.
emotional part.
Equals argument. That's exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
Argument.
I highly agree.
Got a whole fight on your hands.
What you about to say, AG?
I was gonna chime in on what he was saying about that selective hearing. I think what you touched on about us being more logical and the women being a little bit more emotional. I think we might say something like a buzzword, and they get emotional about what you said, and forget about everything else. It's just like, what you just said?
Yeah.
And,
to me.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, and I agree with everything y'all said. Yeah,
We can't hear you when the emotions are
right,
triggered.
right.
See, with me, if you yelling at me, I'm gonna tune you out right off the bat. You can say your mother's in the hospital, I'm not gonna hear, because I'm already in my mode. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You know, I might be there physically, but I'm not hearing you because I'm tuned out, because you yelling and screaming. I'm not doing that.
So, first of all, how did it get to the yelling and screaming? Because you
'Cause
weren't listening.
No, because because the communication wasn't the right communication. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
But
for me,
how many women just start yelling and screaming?
a whole lot of
No.
ratchets. No, Adriana, it is a lot like
Not
that.
just ratchet.
Sometimes people, that's all they know. I said this before. Sometimes people dealing dysfunction for so long, they think they functional. They think they dysfunctional is functional because they used to that. They brought up in the family. Their mama yell, "Hey, you want to come eat?" You know, stuff like that. To them, it's normal.
That's true.
I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm serious.
I think the yelling and screaming happens when you got so much bottled up that there's so many little things happening here and there and there and there that you're not saying nothing about, and then you
Yeah.
finally just blow, and it's just like
just that one trip. I agree.
Right, because we are talking about communication in a relationship, right?
Right.
Okay, so I mean, you would already know before getting in the relationship that this yelling and screaming thing is what this woman does. So nobody on this panel is going to be in a relationship with that
Sometimes you don't know.
woman.
Sometimes we do meet people's representative.
Okay, you're right.
Right.
Most
You're
of the
right.
time.
So it's like, you know, I want to put my best foot forward, and I also want to add a disclaimer. I didn't want to suggest that men don't have emotions or that we're not emotional and that women aren't logical, because that's not true.
Right.
You know, it's our natural modality, what we tend to rely on more than anything. But
What you gotta say, Flip?
You about to start crying.
I knew he was gonna go there.
What's that word? What's that word?
modality.
Modality.
Yeah.
Can you break that down?
It's just the way that we learn.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
That's my
Our,
guy.
our
Modality.
inclination, modality.
that's
How would you use it in a sentence, Flip?
my modality
Yeah.
is edging me on to not do this while I'm in church. I just put that out there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I agree with everybody on this panel that will be at stake. You're gonna talk about what you've been through, and then what you know. You can't go off what somebody else is talking about.
Right.
But all this is true. You know, I've been through all that pretty much. You know, but like you said, Chris, it's probably in the natural too that I'm yelling automatically because in my family that's what we do. You know,
It's the norm.
and then you got the key word. You know that
Right.
you can be listening but not listening. Like I heard everything you said until you said that B word or something like that, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you gonna call me? No, I wasn't talking about you.
Right. Also, the flip side about that is you can be talking to somebody and they be like, okay, did you hear me? But being the fact that we already in that zone, no, did you hear what I said? You know, then you going back and forth, then nobody's understanding what anybody's
Sometimes
saying.
it's your ego and her ego
Clashing,
clashing, and
right.
nobody's
That's
listening
that
to
classic case
anybody.
of like you preparing your response
I was just about to
before
say that.
Absolutely.
before they talking.
Right.
Just like
Yo, no, I know what I'm saying.
Wait,
And that's
yo.
exactly what we say is not listening.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not
You're just
listening.
hearing.
You're waiting to respond.
Right.
that's true.
So you're not trying to understand. You're not listening to understand. You're listening
Yes.
to respond.
Absolutely.
And again, that's what I'm saying. The difference between hearing and listening. It's like, yeah, I heard you, but I'm not listening because I'm stuck on
What I heard.
this thing. Yeah,
thing.
you know
That
what I'm
was it,
saying?
two
I'm
different
stuck
things.
on that thing right there.
So let me ask you a question. So in a relationship, I know everybody's like married and stuff like that. Do you think that's a deal breaker? Well,
Yeah, you gonna downplay. I'm not about to stuff like that.
do you think that's a deal breaker in a relationship? If I can't communicate with you, cause you like some people that stay in it just because. Some people like it. It's totally deal breaker.
I think it's totally,
If you in love with that person,
it's
like
still a deal breaker. You can't communicate. What's the purpose of?
So why being
You setting
together?
yourself up.
You
How do you
can't.
fall in love and can't communicate?
Thank you.
Right.
Right,
I
that's
didn't
what
want to say it and be all emotional.
I agree.
At some point, the communication was there. You know, you'll be able to have dialogue and you know catch a vibe, and that's how y'all fell in love in the first place. So somewhere the communication
Right,
just
because
broke down.
communication isn't just words.
I was about to say that.
Exactly.
Now me
That's good.
personally,
I like
That's good.
I'm a type of person, if I feel as though I can't express myself or I'm not finding the right words, what I do is I say, let me shut up and I write a letter. I'm better at writing,
That's good.
really, than speaking because I get so frustrated myself because I can't articulate the way I'm feeling. So I'd rather write it down. I say, okay, listen, I'm gonna give you a letter. You read about it later, then we can come back and discuss it. You know what I'm saying?
I got.
I was gonna say the beauty of writing a letter is that a person can't argue with a letter.
That's good.
Do you get what I'm
I
saying?
ain't think
I
about
can't
that. That's
argue
true.
with that.
Right.
I really just have to process what it is that you wrote. I can start creating my rebuttals, but where I'm gonna give the rebuttals to? Like I'm reading a letter. You get what I'm saying?
That might
So-
be your logical side though, because a woman might read between the lines and be like, "What do you mean by that?"
Oh
Like a
yeah,
text-
and that's
like a text
true.
message.
That's true because you don't have emotion. You don't have any
Right.
emotion to assign to it other than, oh, I feel like you yelling right here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You ever
that's one of the challenges.
sat and watched a woman, and I'm saying it just like this, read a text message and they take it and be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
think they said it
Oh,
like this?
yeah.
I'm like, how you know they said it like that? But you don't even
Because we
know.
know you.
Yo, not even just us, just in general.
No, I
They
know.
really
You
take
know
it.
you said it.
And go,
So many
you put your
times.
psyche into it.
It
Well, I
was so
think it
many
sounds.
I'll send a text message. She think I'm mad. My wife. She be like, "What you mad for?" I'm just responding. So no.
That's
Right. Right.
That's
You gotta make sure you got a period here.
Yes, you
point.
do.
No, honestly,
Yes, you do.
because you could now
Smiley
see people,
face.
bruh.
Right.
A friend of
LOL.
No, I don't know if you're trying to be funny.
right. See?
Oh,
look at you see.
LOL, you LOL. What we doing now? We LOL.
You see what she did? All that stuff. So we beefing over text message, right?
Yeah. That text message come back with all caps.
All caps.
Now you yelling at me.
So my question, ask your question. I know this off the subject. So if I'm texting all caps, that means I'm yelling, right?
Yeah. Yelling.
Okay, I never knew that.
But some people, it's their style. I got one of my mentors, like he likes the way it looks. And I remember telling him, I was like, "Yo, you know you're yelling, right?" He's like, "No, I just really like the way."
Where did that come from?
That sounds so funny though.
saying. Why-
I'm reading something, but you yelling at me.
That
sounds
With an
hilarious.
exclamation point at the end, that mean I mean that. I mean that. Like where did that come from? You know, that's just crazy to
It's the
me.
age we live in now, man.
Bruh.
language. That's
Listen, one of my students were texting something.
No, and I'm serious because I'm, I have my English degree. I'm an English teacher.
Okay.
So
She just want everybody to know she got an English degree.
Okay.
yes, I do.
She educated.
Also
She
have a
educated.
master's degree in education.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, boo boo. Okay, boo boo.
I'm missing my gum.
No, you gotta do your hair like this.
But I do pay attention to punctuation. So if you use incorrect punctuation with me, that's gonna send the wrong message. So
It's that serious.
no, it
It
really
is.
is.
It is.
But this is why a lot of times if I'm text something and I don't know how to take it, I don't respond. I'm gonna pick up the phone and call you.
Yeah.
Cause I'll text back. What do you mean by this? Because I need to know. I'm also kind of a literal person. So what you say is what I take. How you say it that's how I take it. I don't, I have a vivid imagination too. So I prefer that you really tell me exactly what you mean. Because once my imagination takes over,
That means you're in the car. I'm going to the crib.
Yeah.
Like this. I know you home.
oh, we're gonna go there. Okay.
The best communication.
Dry snitching.
The best communication I think for me is when it gets like that through text or that. Okay, that's
Don't
it.
do that.
But that make it worse though, right?
Because if I say anything else, it's worse.
After you done got a 3-page
No.
text from her, you gonna
No,
just say
dog.
okay?
No, see, it depends on what's being said. But I just hit you with the
No.
okay. I can't argue through text because even though I get it through my mind, I gotta be conscious of what I'm saying, and I can't think when I'm like that. Like I can't think about 3 different ways. I have to think about what Flip gonna say. I'm gonna think about what Eddie gonna say. And yeah, I have 2 different persons. May 26th, shameless plug. Eddie versus Flip. So then I gotta think about what he gonna say, and then I think about the person's feelings that I'm talking to. So then I'm like, if I I'm gonna delete the whole paragraph, and I'm just gonna put, okay, we'll talk. Okay.
I like that you added we'll talk.
Yeah.
I like that.
See,
'Cause
I'm-
don't just text me okay. Don't do that.
Yeah, but see, and then I do that. I'm not gonna lie, I do put okay because I know that I'm getting under your skin by just saying okay because
so petty
you're under.
paragraph.
Yeah, like I don't think it's fair that you be petty and I can't be petty. You owe me. Let me be petty this time because you were petty. Now we're gonna be petty together. I want my petty to come out.
Okay, so you
Hey,
mentioned
Bell.
something
I'm just
that
playing.
triggered a question for me. You mentioned thinking of the other person's feelings.
Yeah.
So when communication goes wrong, like when do you stop caring about the other person's feelings and just
When I start saying okay.
I don't never care about feelings.
Nah, I'm just playing. I can't.
Oh shoot! He said he don't never care about feelings.
Nah, I can't.
but that's real though.
I'll take
Because
his
some
ring. I'm
people
like, you
don't.
married?
Yeah, I
You
am.
still married?
I am. And we'll sit down and we'll talk. I'm like, look, yo, check your feelings at the door. It ain't about feelings right now. It's about right and wrong. That's how I communicate.
Well, when it's like that, if it's right,
Yeah, if
right,
it's
who's
on
wrong?
like that, yeah, I get
It's
that.
like
I
that,
get that.
yeah.
I get that.
And I'll tell her, like, get out your feelings. Like, else you gonna be on this emotional roller coaster, and we gonna have a conversation that's gonna lead nowhere. Because
what
you
if-
can't even
that's
think.
hard.
What if
Still,
she's
though.
not in her feelings and you just assuming she is?
Huh?
What if she's not in her feelings but you just assuming it
No,
is?
she isn't.
That's
When you
hard.
start, and I know my wife.
Right.
You know, and we've been in
You had to
communication for a long
communicate.
time.
But you
Right.
know.
But I realize it's healthier to do it that way because if we can check our emotions at the door, I just know it never helps. When you all riled up and you upset and you trying to talk, you can't think straight, you can't hear straight. All right, here, what do we say? Let's both put down what we think is the right and what's wrong. Okay, we can look at this. Do we agree or do we not agree? You know, and then we can find out what we agree on and say, all right, like, let's figure this out. So,
But that's still
If it
feelings.
works for them, it's
If it works for them, right?
But I was gonna say that.
Right.
I say that. That's their household.
Yeah.
That's how y'all do it. But to me, that's still feelings because you're writing down how you feel. You're writing down, bro. That's like if I don't, bro.
You know, he's saying they just
They
state
say they
the
write down the
facts.
facts.
They
say
just
write
state
down
the
the
facts.
just what's right, what's wrong.
That's still feelings.
No, it's not.
No matter what you
Right
write,
is right and
it's-
wrong is wrong. You
Okay,
can't.
if you steal from the store, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
I felt like doing it.
I didn't care Snickers. What you talking
I was starving. I had Snickers.
Hey, let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. If you're making decisions based on how you feel all the time, 9 times out of 10 you wrong.
Yeah, that's
That's a
I
fact.
can't say 9 times out of 10.
Okay, 8.5.
I don't know. It's one of them 50-50 things. It's one of those. It's like intuition. Or sometimes you say God told me. Now we use that and say that a lot. We be like, yo, that intuition. I feel like I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this show, or I shouldn't be here. That's something you feel. So 9 times out of 10, do you go with it or you don't go with it? I can't say. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong.
Right.
It's just like you feel that. You feel that you shouldn't be there. And if I don't do hood shows because I feel like something gonna happen. I felt that. So I'm like, you know what? I feel that. I'm not going there.
Right.
I'm just saying, it's always going to be some type of feelings involved.
How many brawls at the club I missed and how many shootings at the club I missed because I didn't go because I felt like something was going to be wrong that night.
That's true. That's what I'm saying.
Because the Lord told me.
That's just like Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, it ain't feelings. It's the Holy Spirit.
I'm just saying, like emotions is dangerous, bro. Like, I mean,
It can be.
I know my wife. She don't like it when I get emotional. She'll tell me like, you and your feelings, like you like man up for real. Like you can't be around here like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we try to check the emotions at the door just because we as people, we just want, if we just do what feels good or do what we feel like, bro, like it's just it's a recipe for catastrophe in most cases. So we try to not get emotions involved, especially with communication. We just had an argument the other day. It was like, yo, like that feeling, let's check out, let's get all that out, and just like, all right, what's right, what's wrong. We was able to come back together and be like, yo, I was wrong about this, I was wrong about that, and it was done. Ain't talk about it no more.
So what role does feelings have in communication?
Exactly.
What role do they have?
That's what
We just
that's
concentrate
mine.
it
Because
on-
at some point you have to be able to communicate
Right.
your feelings.
Right.
Right.
At some point.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
that's an excellent question.
Yeah,
Right.
Who are we posing that question
That's to everybody.
yeah.
Tom scratching his head.
I'm not good at that.
Is he thinking about it or he thinking about some chicken? Which one?
I think it's
to? How he feel about
I think it's our
chicken and who he
upbringing
gonna
too.
communicate to.
That plays a lot. Like knowing where you probably came from, knowing me, my feelings went straight to fighting before. Like I used to be like, yo, I feel this way, I want to straight fight. I don't care.
I was the same way.
But now I'm like, yo, I care too much. You know, going to the service and they got that out of me quick, like boom.
Yeah.
You know, but now I'm more like sensitive to people. I'm sensitive to like, yo, how you feel about, yo, I think I was wrong. Let me go correct myself. You know what I'm saying? Or let me hold back from doing, because I'm not that same person no
Right.
more. Let me talk to this person and get it out so that we
That
can
comes
be cool.
with maturity, though. That comes with maturity. And, you know, ego plays a lot in a lot of it because, you know, me and Star get into our little wordplay. You know, I'll feel that I'm right. She'll feel that she was right. And it just catastrophe right then and there. And what I do, I just fall back. I just get quiet, don't say nothing to her. And then when things simmer down, you know, I'll say, well, I'm sorry for what I said, or I'm sorry, you know, I felt this, that, or you know, whatever, and then everything is cool. But we have our method at how we communicate and how we do things. You know, I'll write her a letter. If I'm at work, I'll write her a letter and I'll say I'm sorry and everything. You know, I'll just push the ego to the side. Whatever, right?
Yo, bro, I just bring home sushi.
But
That's what I just bring home sushi.
But lots of ginger. You know she and lots of ginger.
you know, I just buy her shoes.
When it comes to me, I just want peace. I don't fight with the argument. My dad always say this. Sometimes you got to keep peace to get a piece.
Your dad just sit there with a book and be like, you know, I'm gonna say this.
Cause he said
He was like, my dad told me.
Cause he found stuff like that when I was young. I'm like, what is he talking about? When I get old, I'm like, dang, that was short, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
For real. Like my mother should be on 100 sometimes, and he'd be like, okay, baby. And it make her mad because you know he ain't gonna argue with her. You know, he's like, I just want some peace. Okay.
Sometimes the best communication is not saying nothing at all.
You think so?
Sometimes.
It depends on who you dealing with. Now.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Because let's get back, like the text message thing. Like I've texted somebody before, or somebody texted me something, and I didn't text back on purpose for a minute. It could be a minute. Oh, you ain't gonna text me back, and it goes from 100 to 1,000. I'm like, I'm driving. I can't text.
She wanted to.
She wanted right then. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god. And see me, I start getting a headache. I'm like, I'm done. I shut the whole thing down. Like, okay, you know what? I don't even want to deal with it, cause I'm too old for this. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm
And
not.
I think it's also important to know our partners, you know, whether husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend's communicative style.
Right.
Right. Because like in my relationship, in my marriage, I'm the talker. So like in my mentality is, let's address it now. Let's get it done now.
That's me.
But my wife is a process.
I'm the same
Yeah.
way.
You get what I'm saying? She needs the process.
That's me.
And so early on, I used to be thinking, oh, you don't want to address this. You just want this to carry on and linger on. And she, in her mindset was, yo, you want to talk about it right in the heat of the moment, but we heated now. We in our feelings. So I had to learn, and she had to learn, okay, we got to find a happy medium. I know you want to talk about it, so we got to talk about it, but I know you need to process. So you give each other that space. Go ahead and process, and then let me go get my talk track together. And you know what I'm saying?
But you just helped me, because that was something when I was married. That was something that I can admit now. I didn't admit it then. That was my problem. You know, so I want to talk about it now, but she was the process. I'm like, no, we're gonna talk about it now. I can't go to work. I can't do nothing to be talking about right then. You know what I'm saying? I listen. My whole day would be jacked up.
Absolutely.
Like seriously, I'd be at work. Like, yo, one time I left work, went home. Listen, we gotta talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Because, but with her, she's like, can we talk about it later? I'm like, no, we ain't talk about
Then
it.
you might forget about what you got in your head already, how the conversation go, and you like, I got this on my mind, but then you
But
gotta.
you know what though? If you forgot it, then was it really that important? Was it really bothering you that much, or was it bothering you in that moment? Because if you can go away and you forget about what it was that you were gonna say, then that's not something that you needed to say.
It's true.
It's kind of valid.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
On top of that though, is it bottles up and you store it, and when you store it, now when you have an abundance of things that's going to come out of you, and then on those
That's the women
abundance
thing.
of
That's the women things. The women will come. And see, on January 1st,
What?
you did this.
They'll bring up old stuff.
What time was it?
Be like, yo,
Yeah.
we could have talked about that then.
Yep.
Well, I just realized something about myself when you said that, because I do the same thing, like, let's deal with it right now. It's because I don't want to bottle it up. Because I used to
Right.
do that.
That's me.
And I get in my feelings, and then I want to punch holes in walls.
Yeah.
And just tear up my house and just wild out.
I done it, bro. I done cut myself and everything.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's I think because I have matured, and my wife can tell you, like, it used to be real bad, and I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better. And I think it's because I'm consciously choosing not to be emotional. I'm saying, like, when I get in my feelings, I get angry. And when I see that anger bubbling up, I see it as weakness as a man, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Go ahead, preach.
As a man, I should not be getting emotional and angry and tearing up my own house every time I have a disagreement with my wife or she doesn't agree with something that I'm trying to put forth. You know what I'm saying? So I just, like I said, for us, it just works. Sometimes she don't want to talk about it, but I think she knows that, like, let me just help this man. Let me just figure this out, because I don't want him, blowing up.
That's why you gotta have the right partner,
Definitely
guy.
do.
You have to, man. You can't be unequally yoked. I mean, I'm keeping 100. That's serious.
That man know himself. He know how he gets. So you correcting
That's
yourself
important.
first, and
Right.
then you
Check yourself.
That's dope.
And she knows what buttons to push
And what
not
not to
to
push.
push.
That's
Cause I'm
dope.
telling you, cause women
Women
can
are
push.
good at that,
She know what to
boy.
do to push your button, don't y'all?
I would be the only female here today.
I did it by
Where
design.
are you? Where are you? I need you right now.
But represent them. Is that true?
Okay, listen. I'm just gonna be honest. I have known this man since I was probably 11, 12 years old. He can probably attest that I'm a little different. Okay?
You think?
I wanna
Just
know
a little
what the
different. So here's the thing. I have not always been as emotional as you guys say women are. I only have brothers. I've always hung around. I used to hang out with him and his boys back in the day. Like, I've always been around guys. Always had guy friends. My female friends were actually my cousins, or close friends that became family, and that was it. I've never had more than like 3 or 4 female friends at a time, at any given moment. I'm always around guys. So it was not until probably the last couple of years, like I was good and grown before I understood what my mother meant when she said, you have to let a man be a man. And I had been told, okay, listen, so there's a particular man who had to stop me and tell me dead to my face. I was in the middle of a, hold up, because see what you not gonna do is, and that man looked me dead in my face and said, hold on, there can only be one man in this relationship.
That's real talk.
Sober.
You can't even ask me who wear the pants because I have pants on. I paid my own bills. I've always kept at least 2 jobs. Like I take care of myself all the time. If you pay a bill, thank you. If you don't, it's gonna get paid. I'm gonna do what I want to do, go where I want to go. In my mind, I didn't know it, but somewhere in the back of my mind was, I don't even need a man. I got this. But, and I wasn't like thinking it, I wasn't verbalizing it. It was just that I was always around guys. So I was one of those girls who a guy would be like, you think like a, you move like, yeah, 'cause I got all brothers. Like, even my friends were my brothers. Like, I would literally listen. I used to hang out at the barbershop. There's a barbershop on did I not? I would hang out in the barbershop. So when females would be out talking, I'm like, she shouldn't talk because I heard them talk about her at the barbershop. They said X, Y, and Z. Or my brothers would be like, okay, this is what guys do. One of their secrets, never mind, I'm not even gonna tell y'all. Y'all should get you some male friends. But it was certain things that guys did for certain girls or to certain girls. Well, you ain't with her, then you don't do X, Y, and Z. You're not with. And it was just I was there. I listened. My brothers shared with me. They didn't mind talking around me. So there was just things that I unconsciously internalized. So I wasn't with all that emotional stuff. So when guys would do things, and I'd be like, why would you do something like that? Oh, I didn't know you cared.
Well,
I'm like, why wouldn't I care?
But you know what though? This my sister.
She
No, you gonna punch
Okay.
me. No, you doing better though.
Thank you.
No, you doing better.
Thank you. See,
'Cause
I'm
it
doing
was one
better.
time you called me. Remember that time you called me?
Don't go ahead.
And she called me on the phone, right? And I'm like, okay, Adriana called me. So she ain't said hello, what's up, nothing like that. You know how we talk, you know how we talk. Soon I said hello, let me tell you about the beep. Like 15 minutes, she cursed and went in on something. And I'm like, I felt so bad that I thought she was cursing at me. I'm like, yes, okay. But she came back and she got herself together. So your emotions are in check now. So you growing up.
So I guess it took the right gentleman. Is that what?
Well, all he did was listen.
Yeah. But he checked some things. It sounded like too though.
Did you, Chris? You checked something?
No, not him.
No, the one
she was talking about in the story.
Wait,
I checked her on the daily though. That's my sister. I checked her on the
The
daily.
one in the story.
Yeah.
It sounded like he checked something.
Tell the truth. He did. And what I can say, what I can say though about her is, what I can say about her is like you have a conversation with her, certain things in her relationship. She could have been out a long time ago, but she realized who she is. You know what I'm saying? And she's doing much better. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
Right. Because she like to fight and stuff.
It's that Trinity blood.
The Trinity blood.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
But I know you for a while.
Right?
Because she'd be like, she'd say something. She said, Chris, I will
See,
knock him
listen,
so-and-so
AG, don't listen to them. Don't listen. What you see right now, okay? I've known all of these guys for years.
Just know God has worked the milk in your life. Hallelujah. Reverb.
Back to the communication.
So communication-wise, I was one of those girls who a guy could be like, oh, they run their whole life story down to me, and I'm gonna tell them, okay.
She
pour their entire
She be
heart
hard- she be
out.
hard
and
on
I'm
brothers.
like,
You know what? I'm gonna put it out there.
Man eater.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Put it out there.
I really commend you because you reached out to me a couple times and got myself together. Like it took her to be like, you and a couple
She'll
of
do
people.
that.
She was like, she hit me up and would tell you like, no, you don't have to do this or such and such and such. And I had to really sit there and think. And I'm like, you know what, you right. And it's stuff you already know. You need that confirmation sometimes from the other end and be like, yeah, you right. Let me just.
Because just a couple weeks ago, the whole man's ball thing when I called you, that really bothered me. But the way she did, she's like, Chris, shut it down. X, Y, and Z, da. I said, you know what? She right. Forget that mess. You know what I'm saying? But the way she communicated to me.
the man's ball, Chris?
Oh, nothing. Oh, nothing.
So back to communication. So I will say this. I feel now I'm better with showing emotion. Now, there's pros and cons to that. There's pros and cons to it. So there's still that old side of me that will pop out every now and then and start taking earrings off like, who do you think you're talking to?
Grabbing the Vaseline.
Like, I ain't even got time for the Vaseline. Like, who is he talking to right now? And then, my brothers start coming out like, hold up,
My wife, she
And then I have to remind myself, wait a minute now, you are a lady.
I've been so long.
I didn't do it.
No, you not me. Well, never mind.
And that's swung on you. Okay? But okay, so the thing is, I've seen both sides with the emotional woman and then that where the guys don't show their feelings. And I'm gonna tell you, as a woman, we don't like that. We don't like it.
You know?
No.
You don't like when we don't show our feelings?
No.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Really?
communication
Don't
from a
like
man,
it.
like literally, it's about being vulnerable.
Right.
But by that same token, when we're vulnerable to women, y'all can't like.
Can't
Say
use
it.
it against you.
There you go. That's
can't
the
use it
word.
against- or
Yeah,
we
that's
will
it.
not
Yeah.
open up ever
That's
again.
it.
Ever again.
That's why my
And it makes it worse for the
I
next,
agree.
if it, the next person.
I tell you, women don't like that. They don't like no emotional man. Because of that.
It depends on the woman.
It does, and I see. I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
My wife don't want to hear me talk about my feelings. She don't.
It's not. I'm not gonna say.
Hey,
It's
G, you
not.
don't
It's
care.
not that
Your wife is here to
She sounded like a thug. Wife be a thug.
Your wife is here
She be
today.
like, yo, and we got 3 boys. She be like, yo, all that whining and crying, yo.
But see,
Oh,
that's
I
different.
want
Now that's
that, right?
different though.
I don't want that.
That's what. But to
different.
me, when you say that emotional, I'm just like, oh.
So
baby,
what's the difference?
Yo,
Okay.
no.
I think that's different.
That's
Women
good.
women don't want to hear that.
There's a masculine way to communicate
yes.
your emotions.
Okay.
Right. You speak what you
So I don't think women want men to be effeminate when they're communicating their emotions.
That's what. But when you say emotion, that's
Nah,
why.
because we all feel some kind of way about something.
Right.
So if somebody just walked in and did something crazy, we all gonna feel something. But how we
Right.
communicate that is
Right.
the determining factor. So
Right.
I don't think women don't want us to communicate what we're feeling. It's how we communicate what we're feeling.
Yes.
If we're being whiny, they don't want to see a soft dude.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Yeah,
I
I'm
need
not
to
gonna
know that you
because
feel something.
Me, all that whining and crying.
Yeah.
That's because you have
You really
thuggery.
gonna cry.
That's because you have thuggery.
You are going to cry because
I'm sensitive, but I can thug it up if I
But
want
there's
to.
a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
You can be sensitive, like there's something that hurts you or upsets
Right.
you or something like that, and you do cry about that. I'd rather you cry
Yeah.
than to let it out in some form of anger, especially if you're taking it out on me, because we
Right.
are going to
But
fight.
to me, that's being
We're gonna
emotional.
fight.
I'm like, why is this dude running around huffing and puffing? That being on emotional. That to me, that's whack. And I don't think women like that.
I
They
think it's a catch-22 to it.
Yeah.
I think it's one. I think y'all want to see if your man can. Hey yo, you better sit your butt down. Oh, I like the way he
Someone like
talking to me
that.
like that. I think that's a turn on, and I think it's a turn on for you for a man to be like, tell you how he feel. Like, look, babe, sit down. It hurt me to, you know, the way that you was talking to me the other day. And I just, oh, you know what, baby, let's go upstairs. You know, like, it's just stuff like, I think it's both ways. I think
Let's go make it right.
catch-22. Yeah. I think it's a catch-22. Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It depends on where you. Maybe it depends on where you are in the relationship. Because I've had both in one man. I've experienced both. So that.
Do it both at the same time. I'm just gonna try it both times at the same time. I'm gonna be mad and sensitive at the same
Okay, listen.
Okay. So when you come to me initially with that my initial back, especially if I'm caught off guard, is to back. Like, well, hold up. That's natural for me. I'm sorry, not everybody's like that. Some women. No, I am. No, I'm not. I just defend myself.
Absolutely. God bless you.
I protect and defend myself. Okay.
bless you.
So that fight or flight kicks
You're right,
in,
you're
and
right, you're
it's a
right.
fight because I'm not that good at running. So I'm a trip and fall. So when you come like that, especially if I don't expect it, then I automatically come back at you. Now I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I'll apologize later because I'm sure I'll get the message at some point when I calm down. It's like, dang, there was actually an issue there. I kind of had to see past that, but I really gotta care for that. I gotta care because if I don't, then I need to throw. You're gonna get Uncle Phil thrown out the door.
I call the visual.
Don't talk to me because as far as I'm concerned, you don't talk to me like that. Like, don't raise your voice at me. And I come from a household. My father never raised his voice at me.
Right.
He knows my dad.
Right.
He's one of the sweetest, most gentle men. If the bear come out, you really did something wrong.
Right. My dad's like that.
He doesn't.
He only did that with us as kids. Like, he tear our butts up.
No,
but when it came to
never.
my mom, my dad, you okay?
Never. My father has never touched me.
But that's a real man. He know
Never.
he know how to maneuver.
But I think this is where counseling is important.
Oh, the marriage
Yeah,
counseling.
absolutely. I think relationships need to do counseling.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about two different people from two different backgrounds, two different styles, two different examples. Because I may have come from an abusive household to where that's normal. Like, you know, there was a time when, you know, growing up when my parents, they would argue a lot. And so, honestly, I thought when I got into a relationship, if me and this young lady ain't arguing, we don't love each other. Because I knew my parents loved each other. And I'm like, but I didn't know that they were just going through a thing at that time. You get what I'm saying? And then you got some other people who grew up in a household where they don't communicate. It's like they get angry and everybody goes to their respective corners. So now you bring those two different extremes into a relationship and you just expect it to work. It's not gonna just automatically, magically, and miraculously just happen.
That was a lot of words.
It's not.
Yeah,
but it's the truth. It's not gonna automatically just
And then
work.
you have to decide with those different styles, is it worth it to
Absolutely.
work on this and figure it out and come up with our own way to communicate with each other.
And I think that's where a third party is essential because this person doesn't have a bias. So that's why I say counseling is important because that person doesn't have a bias. They want to see the relationship work.
Right.
I'm not for her, I'm not
taking
for
no
him.
sides,
I
right.
want it to be successful.
Right.
And so
I'm
now you got
neutral.
this non-threatening environment where people could just be honest and be like, yo, this is what I really feel. This is why I'm like this. And then vice versa. The woman could be like, this is why I'm like this.
Two things. I think it's healthy to be around other marriages.
Absolutely.
It's very
Successful
healthy.
marriages.
Yes, successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, successful.
Yeah.
Another thing is playing the roles, switching the roles. If you act like me and I act like you, then you get to learn how you are.
Oh, we've been through that.
That's dope. I think that's dope. You do that, and then I seen it to where, and shout out to my cousin Tyson Cotton, where he broke it down to me, and he just was like, "Yo, me and my wife, we have done this," and he was like, "Yo, it was crying, it was all that loving, hugging, and
told me about
everything,
that.
because
told me about
you
that.
see yourself, bro, and it's crazy because you don't know that you do the things that you do."
Yeah, when you
And it's all through.
you don't realize.
Bro, it's like wow. And it's like, so we sat there and started playing. Like, I'm gonna play Tyson, you play Eddie, and then boy, you come here every time trying to get a free haircut and all that. But yeah,
So we about to wrap this up. But before we do this, so what's the question I want to ask you? What do you want to say to the people when it comes to communication? Just wrap it up. What you think? Help them out. Help the people out.
Okay. I would say in order to have good communication, the first thing you need to do is know yourself.
Right.
I would say know what your triggers are, so you know when to pull it back, and even when to say, you know what, let's cut this conversation.
Right.
Let's cut this conversation. And hopefully the person respects that you want to cut the conversation before you get to that overboiling point. Go to your respective corners and come back later when everybody is a little calmer and can speak logically. Because to me, you do need to, the emotional part, if emotions are triggered, then that's something that you need to communicate about.
It's good. I'm gonna do Toby last. I want him to do something for me. How about you, Tone?
Number one, listen. It's always good to listen. Put egos to the side and don't be afraid to say I'm sorry. Because sometimes saying I'm sorry can change a whole lot of things.
Yes, sir. AG.
Man.
Just thug it out.
When it comes to communication, you need to be frank, have candor about it. You need to patiently endure, and you need to overcome and not complain.
Lord, I'm scared. Look.
WWJD. What would Jesus do? Would he stop and listen? Or would he just say, poof, you gone?
I can't. Oh, he said poof, you gone.
Oh my God.
All right. Toby.
Yes, sir.
Did I want you to do something for me? Just give your.
Now I would just say, listen to understand, not to respond. So listen to understand. Not be prepared and ready for what you're gonna say and have a rebuttal.
That's good. That's good. Now, before we go, I want Toby to do something for me. This is, like I said, this is my man. He has poured into me. Like every time I see him, I'm gonna tell him this story. When I was in Atlanta, I was going through my divorce, and I remember I was in the hotel, and he called me. Matter of fact, we was going back and forth, and I don't know. It had to be God for him to pour into me right then. And I would never be able to thank him enough how much he helped me at a particular time, because he didn't even know I was on some crazy stuff with my life. So I just want to say thank you for that again. But I got to do this. Everybody know Toby's he's a beast, wordsmith. There's a song that he did a long time ago that I will never ever forget. When he first did this song, I was in tears. Could you just give me some words to the blood for me? Just a little bit of
The scene was set, the cross
drip,
was thick.
drop. Yeah,
the hill was high.
please.
The scene was set, the cross was thick, the hill was high. Man, I haven't spit this in like years, bro. 2 criminals to his side. Crown of thorns adorn his dome. Naked he hang, abandoned and alone. My God, why in the world am I forsaken? I can only believe with my spiritual imagination. He saw the big picture, plans to get us, Holy Ghost filled with scripture, in the midst of a torn bond between God and man. We beheld God at hand and thought he was bogus. Notice they didn't charge him guilty at his death sentence, but without redemption and repentance, we die sin sick. It was his love, what? It was his blood, what? Shed for the atheist, the Satanist, and thug, what? Manner of man took nails in his hand, took a nail in his foot, persecuted like an utter crook. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Nah, it's my Lord hung high, he was slain, removing burdens of sin, erasing the stain. Whatever you doing in sin, wait, call his name. Blameless, his death famous and heinous, but even at his own arraignment, he knew a mystery. He'd ride on sin, rise again, rebuke death to resurrect and ride out with all power. This ain't the final call, but we close to the final hour. It's getting late, don't wait until the final hour. Kids know their daddy's voice, are you listening? Better get to getting then. God still fishing, men. Y'all still hissing, blood still dripping and dropping, because God still whispering and plotting, hoping that we catch his drift. Still hoping that we catch a drip when it drops.
Woo! You got me in tears, man. AG, take me out, man. Please.
Years.
What you have just witnessed was another episode of Gentleman Code Chronicles Unplugged. Get familiar.